Okay, welcome back, folks. Dr. Burnett again. This is the second video for the course, second of the three. And what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to walk through the course syllabus to highlight various pieces of it. And then I will come back in the third video and dive into the course assignments. So what I want to do is kind of walk through this and walk through the schedule and the syllabus on this one. So, excuse me, so I'm going to bring up the syllabus here so that we can see it. And let me adjust that there. All right, so what you've got in front of you then is the Word document. This is up on the course site. In the course information folder. You can download it. It's a Word document. So just kind of, this is a lot of boilerplate information that you've seen in a lot of other places. And some of it is going to be new to you from social work, but most of this stuff is pretty standard stuff. Okay? So name of the course, Introduction to Social Welfare Policy. This is the online section. Again, if you're in the hybrid section, it's going to be a mirror image of each other, okay? There will be one difference in class participation, and I'll point that out to you when we get there. Okay, so this is the course syllabus for fall 2018. I'm Dr. Burnett. My office down at the university is in the Commerce Street building. I'm up in the third floor in the social work suite. My office is 330, but you can get into it through going through the social work suite, which is C345, okay? This is a direct telephone line to my desk. The way our telephone system is set up is that if we're not there, it will roll to voicemail, and the voicemail is then forwarded to our electronic mail. So we will usually get those messages within a few minutes of your having called. All right, this is my university email address. You can always reach me there. Didn't change this piece. Okay, well, I need to change that. So Tuesdays, I'm in the office, not Tuesdays, but I'm in the office on Wednesdays. We'll do this in real time. 1 to 2:30 p.m. And by appointment. Okay, we can do appointments face-to-face on Wednesdays, or we can do teleconferencing, Zoom, Skype, we can telephone. I also have an office up at the Northwest campus, up at University Park in the Lone Star system. We have offices there, so I can always meet you there, okay? So let me save that piece. All right. So I'm gonna kind of walk through this somewhat quickly, but you see here the mission for the social work program is set up here, so you can see that, and we're preparing entry-level bachelor social workers for both practice as well as for graduate school. All right, most importantly, the course description. All right, so this course, we're going to introduce you to social welfare policy as it's developed and implemented here in the United States. We're going to look at some of the history of social welfare policy, particularly in specific areas. We'll look at contemporary policies, and we're going to look at policy development and implementation, analysis, some advocacy methods and techniques, and really looking at how it addresses the vulnerable and marginalized and underserved populations. Now, this course is the first of two courses that serve as the foundation of the social work program. This course is open to non-majors as well as majors or aspiring majors. And the course also satisfies the Common Core requirement in social and behavioral sciences. So be aware of that. If you haven't met that, this course will allow you to do it. All right, so we have 5 competencies. Some people talk about them as learning outcomes. We're really talking about them as competencies in the course. So when you get done, we want you to be able to demonstrate professional demeanor and behavior, parents, oral, written, and electronic communication. We want you to be able to communicate understanding of the importance of diversity and difference in different practices with different size client systems. We want you to be able to identify social policy at the local, state, and federal level, and particularly as it impacts the well-being of individuals and citizens. We want you to be able to assess how social welfare and economic policies impact the delivery of services. And we want you to be able to apply critical thinking to analyze, formulate, and advocate for policies that advance human rights and social, economic, and environmental justice. So that's a pretty tall order, but each one of the assignments, the quizzes, the policy brief, and the policy analysis video are all geared to demonstrating the competencies that you have within this course. All right, this is a 3-hour course. You successfully completed 3 hours. Gonna be there. You need to have regular and functional internet access and computer to be able to be successful in the course. You know, if you're going to do video conferencing, you're going to need a video cam. If you're going to do the video the policy analysis video, you can do that either using your phone or using a video camera like I am here in Zoom. You can do it using PowerPoint, but you're going to need a video cam in order to do this. Sometimes your laptops will have them built in. Most times they do now. But you're going to need good hardware and software that's going to support your ability to complete the course assignments. All right, so required texts. There are 2 required texts for the course. Number 1 is the Chapin book, and this is it right here, Social Policy. I know it's going to look backwards to you, you know, on the video, but it is Social Policy for Effective Practice, a Strengths Approach by Rosemary Chapin. This is the 3rd edition. We have not gone to the 4th edition. A, it's so expensive, and B, it was really being done just at the transition from the Obama to the Trump presidency, and there really was just too much up in uncertainty around policies. So we've chosen to stick with the 2014 version. Okay, you should be able to get it, renting it, buying it in the used marketplace. Okay, so again, look for it. Don't pay full price. It's unnecessary. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, the Mettler book, The Submerged State. We will have a discussion on this in the online course. The discussion questions will be through the discussion board. In the face-to-face class on Wednesday afternoons, we'll do discussion of the questions in class itself. Okay, so 2 books, both of which you should be able to pick up on the used market. Okay. If you are going to be a social work major, or you know you already are one, you might want to pick up this 3rd book, the C.F. Smith book on writing public policy. It's a very good book, very pragmatic on how to write in the policy environment. It gives examples on how to write policy briefs, but also how to do policy analysis. Very straightforward, okay? Suggestion is you ought to be checking the Blackboard course site, not only for this course, but for all your courses. You should be at least opening them up and looking at them on a daily basis. And if you're not, then you minimally need to do it on a weekly basis. If you only do it once a week, you're not going to succeed in the course. So my suggestion is you should be touching base with your course sites every day. What I've seen and heard from students very often, they want to watch and listen to the video lectures with PowerPoint slides before they read the material. Some like to do it after they read the material, but it doesn't matter. They're pretty closely linked. All right, so so at least be aware of that. All right, so there are several boilerplate pieces in here that I'm just going to kind of touch ever so lightly on. These are all materials that you can read. If you have questions, we can always talk about them. So as a general rule, professional expectations for majors and even for non-majors, we expect them to hold together. There's a code of ethics. There's also the university policy on student conduct that you're expected to follow. And we expect everybody to interact in a professional manner. Confidentiality. You know, there may be times that things could come up in class or in the discussion board in the online section, and we expect everybody to respect the privacy of others in class, your colleagues. So so be aware of that. Don't you know, be talking about people's personal issues or examples that they bring up outside of class. Just be aware of that piece. All right, we talk about boundaries, okay? Boundaries. This is particularly in terms of interactions. You know, if you feel that that there's some personal issues that are coming up with you, if they pertain to the course content, that's one piece. But if there are some issues you may be struggling with that have been triggered by the course or even by other stuff, then there's a list here of various resources that are available to you as a student. You know, there's the Counseling Center, the Student Health Center. There's Title IX resources available as well that's aimed at discrimination and bullying. There's also you know, centers and supports for inclusion and diversity. So note there are resources here to assist you if you're starting to struggle in any way. Academic honesty, again, we're expecting you to do original work. Yeah, and if you don't understand plagiarism and what constitutes plagiarism, whether it's intentional or unintentional, there are resources I've provided in the course site as well around plagiarism. And the Writing Center can also help, okay? So again, we start with an expectation that everybody's doing their own work, okay? Terms of accommodations for learning abilities and differences. If you have a learning accommodation plan with the university, then I will very often get a copy of those. So those will come to me. If you don't have a learning accommodation, but you think you have a disability, then there are resources through the Student Life Center and Student Services, and there's contact information here, okay? So if you require accommodations, please talk with me. And also, if they're formal, then you need to also go through the students with disabilities, the office, disability services. Okay. In terms of just general policy, in terms of the course site and the classroom, you know, we are trying to make sure that the course site and the classroom is a safe place, quote unquote, for conversation and discussion of ideas. Okay, I will probably espouse some ideas, and those are going to be my opinions, and I will very clearly tell you when I'm sharing my opinion on something. And that doesn't mean that I expect you to adopt it. I don't. But if you don't agree with them, then there should be a place for us to have a conversation, just as with your colleagues. Okay, so we expect a respectful and open conversation space within the university. Okay. Subject matter, you know, there are going to be times when people are going to talk about issues that are going to be sensitive. They may be sensitive to the individuals discussing them. They may be sensitive to you hearing about them. But I think you need to understand that that's the nature of the work that we do in social work, is we deal with sensitive material. So you have to be attuned to that. And if that's a challenge for you, then you know, we may want to have a conversation outside the classroom about, you know, what the sensitivity is for you. Okay, university policy on attendance. If you haven't come to class within the first 10 days of first 10 class days, you're going to get dropped administratively. If you're in the hybrid course and you haven't, the online course, and you haven't engaged in the course by the 10th day, you'll be dropped administratively. But if you're listening to this, then you probably are already engaged. Okay. In terms of engagement, we expect engagement in terms of being in the classroom. We expect people to be in the classroom. Online, we expect you to be engaged with the content and the discussion. So know that, okay? And you need to be current with the course, whether it's online or in the face-to-face setting, right? Sometimes emergencies are going to come up, all right? And if they do, and they are prohibiting you from completing coursework, please, by all means, please be in contact with not only me, but also with your other instructors in your other courses. You know, it's always helpful for us to know ahead of time if students are facing some challenges or some struggles. Last year we had the hurricane in the beginning of the fall semester, and we had some students who were homeless or had to relocate out of the area for a while. They stayed in contact. In the spring, you know, the first or second week of class, you know, we got flooded out for a few days. Again, some people, you know, had some issues. So stay in contact with us, please. Do not communicate. That's really important. Okay. I'm gonna run through this particular piece because we're going to actually, I'm going to do the third video on the course assignments. Okay. So I use a standardized grading curve. Yeah, and when I say grading curve in terms of the numbers, A, B, C, D, and F, but I do not curve. I don't have a preconceived notion of the distribution of grades that I only give 10% A's. I don't do that, okay? So know that. There are 4 components of the grade: quizzes, policy analysis video, policy brief, and class participation. I want you to be aware of that. We'll come back in the third video. I'll talk about those in some depth, okay? And I've outlined all the material in here. So later, missed assignments. If an assignment is late, and that goes to the policy brief and the policy analysis video, if they are late, you missed the deadline of submission, then there's an 11-point penalty. It doesn't matter if it's late 1 day or if it's late 2 weeks or 3 weeks, okay? So just know it's an automatic 11-point penalty. If you have a university excuse, then there'll be no penalty, right? If you're late in submitting the 2 assignments, the policy brief or the policy analysis, the last day you can submit them is on Monday, December 10th. After December 10th, I will not accept them. All right, they'll be graded 0. In a rare situation, and so let me go to the quizzes as well. Quizzes are just a defined window of opportunity, okay? They're meant to be brief, they're meant to be multiple choice, they're open for 48 hours, okay? So if you miss the quiz, you've missed the quiz, and that's all there is to it. If it's a technical issue, then you need to go through the university IT department to get that thing cleared. All right, now, incompletes, it's pretty rare for me to give incompletes. There really has to be something fairly unusual, and for virtually everyone I've given an incomplete, given a student an incomplete for, it has been because of some kind of family emergencies. So just be aware that as a general rule, I don't give them, okay? It's a good idea to set up contact and exchange contact information with other students in the course. This allows you to capture information you may have missed, particularly in the online, in the face-to-face section. Students sometimes will form study groups, and sometimes they exchange information when they're doing research projects. So it's a good idea to exchange information and develop those support networks, number one. Number two, if you ever have a need to talk with me, please contact me. As a general rule, I'm pretty quick in responding. Usually I respond in the same day, and sometimes even try to respond within the hour. Okay? Weekends will be a bit of a delay, I'll just say that to you, okay? But during the week, I typically will respond very quickly. If you want to schedule a meeting, please let me know that that's what you're looking for. If you're just needing to talk with me, that's fine too. I can do either one. Okay, it doesn't matter to me. But please, if you're struggling, reach out to me and let me know what's going on. So maybe I can give you a little bit of guidance or suggestion, one way or the other, of how to deal with whatever you're struggling with in the course. Okay. Okay, so we've got that. Okay, so let me give you, I want to go through kind of the schedule roughly as we've got it right now. It's pretty well set up there, okay? So we start the week of August 20th, and so that week, and for the face-to-face class, it's on Wednesday, so just be aware of that, right? I set up the quizzes so that they are due no later than Saturday night at 11:59 at night. So be aware of that. So week one, we're just going to kind of do an introduction, do some review. The orientation quiz is due. So like I said, there's an orientation quiz you have to complete, and it's in that course information folder. And quiz 1 on chapter 1 is also due by Saturday, August 25th. So week 2, we're going to talk about the political context for policy. Week 3, we're going to talk about the economic context for policy. And quiz 2 that covers chapter 4 is due on September 8th. Then week 4, we'll talk about needs assessment and policy analysis to introduce you to those ideas and work. Then we'll talk about policy development and practice in week 5. There are quizzes on both of those chapters. In week 6, which is the week of the 24th, that's when the Mettler and the Abramovitz readings and the postings or the class discussion are due. My suggestion is that you get hold of the Mettler book as quickly as possible and start to read it. okay? And you already know what the discussion questions are, so you should be able to pull those up and start to prepare. The Abramovitz article is also on the course site. It's in that week, and when everything opens up, you'll be able to download that as well. It's a PDF. All right, so tentatively right now, week 7, which is October 1st, and week 8, which is the week of October 8th, we're going to try to do 2 back-to-back weeks on library research. In the face-to-face section, we will be going into the library, or Megan will come to the classroom. I'm still waiting to get that arranged, so that you'll be introduced to using the library resources for doing research for this course, as well as the advanced policy course and other social work courses, number 1. And for the online course, there are videos for you to review and to work with. Megan Hopwood is a great resource, and I would encourage you to make an appointment to see her once you start working either on the policy brief and or the policy video. Okay. 15th of October, that week, where the policy brief is due, so focus on that week. Then week 10, October 22nd, we're going to talk about civil rights. Week 11, the 29th, we're going to talk about asset-based, gets into income maintenance and such. The 12th week of November 5, we're going to talk about child and family policy. And if you want to submit a policy analysis outline of your policy analysis project, you can do it by that week. Week 13, we'll talk about health and mental health. Then the week of the 19th of November, there's no class that week. There's no assignments either, because that's the Thanksgiving break. Then the week of the 26th of November, we'll talk about older adult policy. And then the policy analysis video assignment is due on Monday, December 3rd. There are 3 dates to keep in mind. September 5th is the last day to withdraw from a class or to drop a class without a grade. October 29 is the last day to withdraw from a course with a W, and the last day of classes is December 1st. All right, so that gives you the syllabus as a whole, and once we're done now with this, then there'll be the 3rd video, and I'll spend some time on the course assignments there. Okay, so thanks, and we'll be back with you shortly.